Hundreds of families in Gaza and Israel anxiously await the release of their loved ones after Hamas and Israel agreed to release captives under a Qatar negotiated deal. Now, the agreement includes a 4-day ceasefire, though it's unclear when it'll come into effect.
Many are hoping the brief truce will lead to extended peace in the besieged enclave following 7 weeks of bombardment. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he doesn't intend to stop the war until Israel achieves complete victory over Hamas. We're now joined by Professor Mohammed Abu Nimr. He's Abdul Aziz Saeed Chair in International Peace and Conflict Resolution at American University's School of International Service. Thank you very much for your time today, sir. Both sides have agreed to this pause, but tensions are still high. How fragile is this deal, and how confident are you that it will be executed successfully?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking me. I think, considering the fact that this deal have been in the making for at least 3 to 4 weeks, the negotiation and the contacts with the mediator of the Qatari and Egyptian as well, in particular, I think it's remarkable that they arrived to it despite all the destruction in Gaza and the war taking place. There was some rumors yesterday or some leaking that it should be implemented today, Thursday, but it seemed that Thursday has passed and we're now looking at a Friday, which was indicated today, late night now today, that it will start tomorrow. It is very fragile. It requires a great deal of logistics, verification of names. There are so a security arrangement, third-party details by the Qatari and the Egyptian as well. It's a very complicated operation, but it's very important that it takes place.
Indeed, Professor. I wonder, what do you think about the terms and their implications for both parties involved?
The terms of the implementation, that they will release 10 hostages a day, and the terms require that there is a ceasefire, a temporary ceasefire, particularly from the bombardment of 6 hours during the day. And it's important to have the food and the fuel and all the supplies of aid and the humanitarian aid and relief to be given into Gaza through Egypt. And some of the debates were over, 500 trucks or 300 trucks or 400 trucks. And I think those details have not yet fully been revealed. There are some reports of looking at 400 trucks. And I think some of these details are important. Priority given to foreign nationals, Americans and others, and to have women and children, particularly those who have health challenges. On the Palestinian side, the Israeli agreed to release Palestinian prisoners based on their seniority in the Israeli prisoner. Also knowing that Israel have detained in the last 45 days over 3,000 Palestinians, and those are new prisoner. And it seemed that this arrangement will not include them. So there are lots of details in terms of the implementation that I think the most important would be is the monitoring that on the two sides, that they will respect those terms and they will be indeed implemented. And that's, I think, why it is a gradual, on daily basis. It will be evaluated by the end of every day.
Professor, the Qataris, they were key to securing this deal. They have a close relationship with Hamas, but they've said that they will quote, revisit that relationship after the hostages are returned. What does that mean exactly? How has this conflict altered the dynamic between the two?
Well, you're absolutely right. The Qatari have a strong relation, and they have a leverage over the Hamas political leadership, at least in the outside. And I think they use that in order to pressure them to come into these deals, and to, after the President Biden call to the Qatari about 2 days ago or 3 days ago, when he was asked by Netanyahu to intervene in order to reduce the term or have some more concession, and they were able to put that concession. However, the re-evaluation, I think, comes as a result of the pressure by the American as well as the Israeli, because they don't want to see Hamas taking any political role in the region, and they would like to eliminate the political and the military representation and capacity of Hamas. And I think that originates from that pressure, probably from Israel and the United States as well.
Professor, how do you interpret Mr. Netanyahu's shift from the initial stance of no compromise with Hamas to now accepting a deal? I mean, what sort of factors do you think have prompted this change? Is this sort of an admission that solely relying on military actions have been ineffective?
To some extent, I think that could be, definitely introduced as explanation. There is also, the opening, always in the opening of war, you aim for the highest and many cases unrealistic goals. And then once you are in the ground, you realize that what you set for yourself is too high, too ambitious. And most important is your domestic politics. And I think the domestic constituency for Netanyahu is aching in many ways. And there is a great deal of pressure from the families of the hostages and also from other political party. And they need to see some significant progress on the issue of hostages. And he failed. Netanyahu military operation failed to release one hostage on their own. They failed to eliminate Hamas militarily after 45 days. And also, don't forget, the Israeli economy is really suffering. There are over 350,000 soldiers in reserve engaged in the war in the south and the north. And therefore, there is limit of how much his political party can sustain that pressure. It is definitely a shift that gives hopefully the diplomacy and the negotiation in later stages to be able to build on this shift, and we will see more negotiation and more adjustment of the objective of the war that Netanyahu has set himself and set the Israeli side for.
Yeah, Netanyahu's popularity significantly waning at home. Thank you very much, Professor. We have been speaking to Professor Mohammed Abu Nimr from American University's School of International Service.